It's the magic of the musicals on Broadway. We're back in the West End. It's Alex Belfield talking to the biggest stars and one of my favourite people, Gina Murray. How are you?
And you say all the right things. I'm very well, thank you.
You're gorgeous, you're talented, you're delicious, and you're here. You're back in Chicago. What a big role for a lady who's so small.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's certainly a little sideways step from what they normally cast, I'm told. But I'm thrilled that they've thought outside of the box.
I mean, you're about 30 stone lighter than the average mama, aren't you?
Well, you know, after having the 2 kids, it's probably more like 29 stone lighter. But yes, I suppose I am. Although spending every evening looking at those tiny little ensemble members, you don't feel too thin.
It's an interesting life, isn't it?
It's amazing, actually, and it feels like overnight I've gone from playing young leading lady to mama, old bok. It's very strange. So I'm Mummy Murray by day and Mama Morton by night.
Does it matter as long as you're just in work?
It matters in the sense that when I go into work, I want to have fun, and it means that I'm very, very choosy now with what I do, because if I'm going to leave my babies, it's got to be worth it. But financially speaking, one's hands are a little tied as well.
What have you been doing the last few years? And it's literally just making babies.
I'm not going to go into the details of that, Alex, unless you pay me handsomely. But no, I did keep the work going. I've done a lot of one-nighters and songs from the musical, concerts, etc. And a lot of session work and voice work, because it doesn't matter how huge you are, you can still record. So that's very handy, and that hopefully will continue all the way through any theatre jobs I get as well. But I'm very ready to be back.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. You and your sister Maz are 2 of the biggest personalities in the West End. That's why you get the personality roles. It isn't just coincidence. I'm not just saying this. It's proven now by you getting this role, because it really is one of those roles that has to be unique. You can't have anybody doing it, can you?
Well, that's really nice of you to say. I hope it's the case. But also, it's a bit of a conscious decision as well. I don't know about for Maz, I suspect so, but she's always been a joker. I haven't. But it's been real advantage if you can sort of turn your hand to those cameo character roles. You're going to continue to work for much longer than just if you're a juvenile lead or something like that. So it's very kind of you to say, but I enjoy them more as well. There's much more fun to be had with a comedy character or a big character. And
this role is a big character in more ways than one, and you don't get to do an awful lot compared to some of the longer musicals like Les Mis, which goes on for about 4 days. It's an ideal role, really, this, isn't it? You turn up, you get on stage, it's a short show, it's a fun show, it's upbeat, you're not going to cry halfway through. A few people do get murdered, though, don't they?
I'm afraid they do bite the dust, right in front of me, some of them. It's an absolute gift. And if I were going to choose a role to come back to the West End with, it would be this one. I didn't think when I got it that I would get it at all. And I'm so thrilled that I have. It's ideal because you get on, you sing a number, you do a few lines, you get off. Read a book, you come back on, sing a number, get off. And it's great. And I can actually do my tax return in the interval as well. So it's just fantastic. I could not be happier.
And this shows the antithesis to the big Broadway musicals, although this is a Broadway musical in the sense that it doesn't have massive scenery and massive sets, doesn't really even have lighting. It just relies on great songs, a great band and unique performers.
Absolutely. I think it's actually one of the most traditional old-fashioned musicals, if you like, in the sense that the songs are really, really strong. The book is really, really strong. Therefore, it stands up. You could do it almost in bin liners and it would work. So therefore, you don't have to disguise the fact that it might be thin, because it isn't. You don't need the huge sets and the amazing costumes.
Sorry to interrupt. A rat has just run across your carpet.
You are joking.
I am not joking. It's just ran behind that bag. I'm absolutely deadly serious.
Well, we're sitting here in my dressing room in the basement they call hell. Oh, my Lord. Well, you know, yeah, it's not palatial, but it'll do for me.
Does that happen regularly?
Well, you will notice rodent bait in every single corner. And unfortunately, that is part of the course with the West End. But you're the first person that's noticed one in here. I'm very careful with leaving fresh food out and all that stuff. But it's part of the course.
There really is no showbiz in musical theatre, is there?
Not really. I've just been sprayed from head to toe and hoping that one doesn't climb into to my hairpiece this evening. Although I do have a rather entertaining story about a fellow artist of mine. You may have seen her playing Lady of the Lake. And she thought, that's a very strange movement going on in my bra. Yes, turned out to be a mouse stuffed in there. So that's nice. It's one of the things we put up with here. But, other than that, it's extremely glam.
Okay, we're going to move on from the mouse thing. I'm just going to keep my eyes open. If I see one coming near you, I'll let you know. This role then, how long have you been in rehearsal for it? Because they tend to turn this cast around quite quickly, don't they?
Yeah, in fact, there's a real period of change at Chicago at the moment. We did 2 weeks rehearsal just for me, but that's by no means every day, all day, because I was going in on my own at that point. But then a new ensemble came in a week after me, or 2 weeks after me, and then a new Roxy's come in. So we've basically been in rehearsal since I started for one change or another. That's not the usual thing. It's just been how it's been. So yeah, 2 weeks is plenty for this role.
Are new cast members a nightmare for you because it means you've got to come in during the day?
The stock answer is no, of course not. Actually, to get away from the house, it's the easier thing to do. It's the easy option. If I can leave and say, oh no, I've got to work, how annoying, and say goodbye to my screaming children, then that's what I'll have to do.
On a serious note, is it difficult balancing the two, being a West End star and being a mother? Because they want you when they want you in this business, don't they? And having babies really doesn't factor into that.
No, it doesn't. In fact, I think most people thought they didn't realise that I'd had a family and thought that I'd just, jumped off a cliff or couldn't get a job. Some days it's hard, but most of the time it's really great because I'm happy when I'm working. Therefore, I'm tired, but I'm tired and happy. I'm not tired and miserable. And that's the key. And like you said, jobs like this don't come around all the time. There are people waiting to jump into your shoes, even rats. And, and you just have to seize the opportunity when it arrives. That's what I've done.
And what a show to come back into, because it starts later and it ends earlier than most things. It's pretty short because it packs everything in a punch, doesn't it?
It's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah, 57 minutes I think we are, first half, an hour and 7 seconds. Not that I'm counting, but it's great, and that again is quite old-fashioned now because the shows seem to get longer, movies seem to get longer, but I don't know whether our attention span does. So...
I think this has really got it down to a T where it doesn't get boring at any point. There are some songs in most musicals that do fill. This show doesn't do that really, does it?
Chicago is in its 11th year, and for a very good reason, because it's one of those shows where there aren't any filling bits that you don't need. Because they've pared down the production values, what you get is an edited show of the best bits. So no, everything is vital to the story and you need it, and everything hopefully is entertaining, and there's a beautiful light and shade through all the lyrics. The story is told beautifully and then followed up through the book, and well, it's like the song Nowadays, at the end. And it's a song about it won't be like this in 50 years. But of course, the irony is it is. It's exactly the same. And it always probably will be, I'm afraid. That's the way the world works. But then that is so clear and resonates with everybody, no matter where you're from. This is one of those shows that transcends the tourist problem because you identify, even if you don't even speak English, you can get this story. It's so clear and everybody can identify with it.
And it's fun, thank God for that, because there's a lot of serious stuff in the West End and on Broadway, but this is a show where you can leave your brain at the door, have a great story, hear some good songs and laugh.
Absolutely, and I'm all for that. There is in fact one scene that's slightly depressing that I'm part of, which I really relish because it feels like a real moment. And then the moment's gone and we're back to happy, which suits me just fine.
What are the Japanese matinees like, where you get an audience of people who don't speak English and are not necessarily following your every word? Are they more difficult?
They're very polite. And I think they actually do get the story because there's less response during the piece, and then at the end they go absolutely wild. So that it's worked. And I really do think they get all the nuances and appreciate it all.
And one of the things I've never understood about being a musical star is the audition process and the fact that you have to be berated, embarrassed in front of all these people who might not like you because you're an inch too short or a stone too fat. How do you cope with that and the criticism that comes with being who you are?
I think 20 years in the business, you get used to it. And if you don't, then you leave. And that's it. And if you take it personally, you're going to be very miserable. And the reason you're in this job and you get any jobs is because you must have something to offer. Therefore, you must be all right sometimes. I think the key is to learn where your strengths are and your weaknesses and play to your strengths. Don't be busy trying to be the best dancer if you ain't a great dancer. You just do what you do, whatever that is. And I think then you've got a good chance.
Is it difficult, though, becoming a personality and taking that step forward from the chorus and becoming a headliner? How do you do that? Does that happen by chance, or is it the talent that's spotted normally?
I think in some cases it happens with probably a little bit of chance and a lot of hard work. But in my case, it's a no-brainer because I can't dance that great. So I was never going to be in the chorus. And that's one of the important lessons to learn. If you're a really good singer who can act, work on that. Don't be a great dancer because they won't want to lose you from the ensemble. So, you're waiting too many years to see people like Caroline O'Connor come out from the chorus and be amazing. She is phenomenal and infinitely more talented than someone like myself. The only difference is that I didn't waste my time pretending that I could dance anywhere near as well. I just play to my strengths and wait for the right opportunity to come up at the right time. And really a lot of luck is involved.
So my aspirations to be a Chippendale are not going to happen?
I'm not writing it off. If you do me an audition now, I will let you know.
I would do, but not in front of the mouse. I think it would be inappropriate.
Now you see, you're a wuss. You've got to cope. You've got to cope with the West End, love.
That wasn't a euphemism, by the way. Gina Murray is a big star here at Chicago. It's on at the Cambridge Theatre, and you are a big star. And I know you're going to be back doing whatever role you want to do because you're one of those few personalities that steals the stage, and this role really allows you to do that. You can pull focus, can't you?
Oh, you absolutely have to, I think, with Mama, otherwise you've failed. She's all about the confidence, and I've just been talking to my American director who's amazing, and really that's the key with her. You come out and you own the joint and you own everyone there and you make no apologies. It's a gift of a role. Then of course I go home and everyone walks all over me, but it's my chance to shine and be really, really strong, which I love.
Well, if you don't mind me saying, you do own the theatre, you do own Chicago, you do own this dressing room and the mouse that's in it. Gina Murray, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you so much.